Australia, an island, a continent and a country. It's the sixth largest country on Earth, boasting the world's longest coastline and a sprawling landmass of more than 7.5 million square kilometers. Situated at the bottom of the globe and surrounded by the Pacific, Indian and Southern Oceans, Australia is defined by its stunning isolation. Its shores feature quiet, pristine beaches, while the interior reveals a landscape that shifts dramatically from fertile coastal plains to expansive deserts and even snow-capped mountain ranges. This vast nation is divided into states and territories. Its major cities contrast sharply with the wide open spaces of Central Australia. Across the continent, large-scale engineering, maritime and mining projects are underway, and farms and agricultural enterprises work tirelessly to help feed the world's growing population. This is what many refer to as Big Australia. About 1,000 kilometers north of Brisbane, in the tropical state of Queensland, lies the regional city of Mackay. The warm, humid climate here is ideal for growing sugarcane. In fact, this region produces more than 1/3 of Australia's sugarcane crop, earning it the nickname the sugar capital of the nation. The Australian sugar industry is enormous, with the potential to become even bigger. Harvesters here can process up to 80 to 100 tons of cane per hour, demonstrating impressive efficiency. "If we don't know what we're doing by now, we never will," a farmer jokes. Sugar has a proud history in Queensland. It has been cultivated here for more than 150 years. The infrastructure supporting it is massive. Around 850 kilometers of mainline tracks transport approximately 12,000 tons of cane from farms to mills every day. In today's climate, the industry must also adapt to demands for renewable energy. At Mackay Sugar, for example, nothing goes to waste. Cane is transformed into green power as well as sugar. Ships arrive regularly at ports along the Queensland coast to load tens of thousands of tons of raw sugar bound for global markets. It's an honest industry, full of hard-working, down-to-earth people who are proud of their contribution to the world's food supply. But producing sugar isn't easy. The farmers who grow the cane face myriad challenges: floods, disease, fluctuating market prices, and changing government regulations. These pressures can make it difficult to stay afloat, and some have left the industry over the years. "I love farming," one grower says. "I just don't love the constant economic pressures." Others recall losing irrigation rights due to environmental regulations, or watching the sugar price crash and take the mill's fortunes down with it. Some moments feel like the end of the industry, yet resilience prevails. "It's a big challenge," another farmer admits, "but when you manage to succeed, it's a great feeling." Many Australian cane farmers work under contract to supply their harvest to sugar mills. Mackay Sugar owns 4 mills in Queensland and produces over 800,000 tons of sugar per year. Most of this is sold both domestically and for export. Australia is one of the world's largest sugar exporters, producing up to 35 million tons of cane annually. That's about 5 million tons of sugar, enough to make more than 44 billion litres of soft drink each year. Australians consume about 40 kilograms of sugar per capita annually, which is higher than the global average. The high quality and consistency of Australian sugar, along with its proximity to burgeoning Asian markets, gives the industry a competitive edge. Asian sugar consumption grows by about 6% every year, making these markets increasingly valuable. Across the country, thousands of sugarcane growers supply more than 24 mills, which ship from multiple ports along Australia's eastern seaboard. Major destinations include Japan, Taiwan, Korea, Thailand, and New Zealand. Loading a ship with thousands of tons of sugar in under 20 hours is common, reflecting the industry's efficiency. Yet agriculture is always at the mercy of Mother Nature. Australia's farmland is spectacular, lush and green, often meeting the coastline. Cane fields border towns like Mackay, where mill chimneys have stood for generations. But the weather can be punishing. Cane growers face floods or cyclones that can devastate crops and cause over $1 billion in damage. They have been hurt before and somehow always find the strength to rebuild. This season began well, but unseasonal rain has delayed the harvest. Mills have had to shut down for weeks, waiting for fields to dry and for farmers to resume cutting. The climate in North Queensland can vary dramatically. Long dry spells, floods, cyclones, and even the occasional tornado. Weather dictates everything in farming, and interruptions impact both the factory schedule and farmers' incomes. Still, they persevere. Once conditions improve, harvesting continues, sometimes extending right up until Christmas to make up for lost time. The early days of the industry were not easy. While sugarcane arrived with the first fleet, it took over 70 years to establish a viable plantation. In the early 1900s, Maltese and other European migrants sought better lives, often finding work in labor-intensive cane fields. Initially, cane was cut by hand, grueling work that became too expensive as labor costs rose. Mechanization revolutionized harvesting, making it less labor-intensive and more efficient. In the old days, the sound of cane burning signaled the start of the harvest season. Today, most growers green harvest, leaving the leafy trash in the field to mulch the soil, retain moisture, and suppress weeds. Still, a few farmers cling to burning because their particular conditions demand it. If we cut green, the cane goes sour, one farmer explains. We won't get full potential from the land. Sugarcane is grown along hundreds of kilometres of Australia's northeast coastline, from Mossman in far north Queensland down to Grafton in New South Wales. Over 4,000 cane farms dot this region. Most are family-owned and operated. The Gregg brothers, second-generation farmers, recall a childhood of clearing fields by hand and toughening up through hard labour. Today, sophisticated science guides planting, choosing the right variety for each soil type. Within weeks of planting, fresh shoots appear, promising a new crop. Not all farmers rely solely on cane. Some take second jobs or become contractors to earn extra income. Environmental regulations can suddenly declare a farm dry if water salinity tests fail, eliminating irrigation rights and forcing growers to gamble on rainfall. Despite the hardships, farmers like the Gregg brothers and others choose to remain on the land. They value their independence and they love farming. Another farming family, the Gueras, also spans generations. Working as a team, father and sons run harvesters worth around $500,000, each cutting up to 100 tons of cane per hour. Efficiency is paramount. Fuel costs alone can be huge, but their high-tech harvesters, guided by GPS, help minimize waste and maximize yields. When the cane is cut, it's loaded into special haul-out wagons that transfer it onto a small-gauge railway system.